Infographics have become a popular way of transmitting information to an audience. We see them in print advertisements, commercials, on our social media, and they can be valuable tools for formative and summative assessments in the classroom as well. Now, what we look for as teachers in all of the technology we intend to use in a classroom setting is how it enhances the skills we want to teach to our students. Infographics can address multiple standards within Common Core, 21st century literacies, and even the ISTE nets. I'm actually going to use an infographic to demonstrate this concept, and this is an infographic I made using Venngage, which is one of the websites we'll be addressing in a minute. And it just sort of covers the educational standards. So you can see overall kind of how the infographic looks. And for Common Core, you can address standards within writing. You cover text types and purposes standard 2, production and distribution of writing standards 4 and 6. 6, of course, addresses the use of technology to produce, publish, and update individual or shared writing products, which infographics can be used for, and we'll see one with a little more writing and a little less listing in a few minutes. You can cover standards in all of the different sections of the Common Core language section. So both Standard 1 and 2 and Conventions of Standard English. You cover Standard 3, which is under Knowledge of Language. And vocabulary acquisition and usage, you cover Standard 5, which I really feel is less about acquisition and more about actual usage, especially when you're using infographics for a creative purpose. Students could be using figurative language, word relationships, particularly nuance of meaning. And then for speaking and listening, you cover Standard 5 under presentation of knowledge and ideas, as well as Standard 1 in comprehension and collaboration. And Standard 5 of speaking and listening discusses the strategic use of digital media. So the way to, again, enhance presentations or findings or imparting information with the use of textual, graphic, audio, visual, or interactive elements. The ISTE nets, you cover empowered learner, knowledge constructor, creative communicator, and global collaborator. And infographics certainly cover this idea of creative in the communicator column, rather than just having students give an oral presentation or produce, say, an essay or a book review or something similar. You really get to address not only their skills as writers or their skills as presenters, but you also have the opportunity to bring in an aspect of visual literacy, which is something that tends to be lacking in classrooms. It just sort of gets forgotten with everything else that we're trying to teach, but infographics in particular are great for teaching those visual literacy skills. Because infographics require you to incorporate sort of an artistic understanding of photos and icons, use of color. Certain infographics also allow you the option to upload audio and video, which we'll talk about in a little bit, as a way to sort of enhance that message that the infographic is presenting. And skills as collaborator, you've probably noticed is an overlap from Common Core, and it will overlap again in 21st century literacies, because regardless of the set of standards that you use as a teacher within your classroom, and of course public and private, we all use standards, regardless of the type of standard you use, we're all trying to teach our students essentially the same basic skills that they can take with them into college, into their careers, even into their social lives, and collaboration and communication are two of the major ones. So 21st century literacies also covers collaboration, it covers critical thinking, as well as covering all 5 of the aspects of information, media, and technology. Because in order to build an infographic, you have to access the information you want to include in the infographic. You need to be able to evaluate what you're reading, understand it. You need to be able to analyze it for what the elements are that you want to include in your infographic. You know, you have to analyze what you want to convey and how based on your purpose. Why am I creating this infographic? What do I want it to accomplish? Who will be my audience? These are all things students have to consider before publishing a final product, before they can create and apply, which are the final 2. And so Venngage is one of the options for being able to do this. Now, Venngage does offer both free and paid accounts, and with a paid subscription, you get extended access to the site, but there are plenty of options for free users. And once you make an account, what Venngage will do is it'll pop you over to this templates page to get started. And you can see over here on the side, they break the templates down into categories to make it easier to find what you're looking for. It always starts you off with featured, but they break it down into informational, statistical, process. So depending on what type of project and what core content area you work with, students can find what they need. And as you can see, all of these are available to free subscribers. Every now and again, you're going to see something like this, which says premium or business, which are exclusive to those with paid accounts, but really the amount of customization available for the infographic templates means that you're not really going to miss any of those additional templates or options that come with premium or business memberships, because it really is easy to sort of manipulate the different formats. You can see over here the basic template I used to make the educational standards infographic that we were just looking at. And for our tutorial, we're going to use the second kind of infographic template. So you can preview these to sort of see what a slightly larger version is, so you can see if this is what you want to focus with. If you like it, you can hit create, and it will pop you over to Vengage's editor. So the first thing to do when you create any project, if you know what you're going to be doing, is change the title. And this is going to be 1984 Final Project. And on the left again, we have a menu, which makes it really easy for you to sort of get to all of your different editing options without it interfering with what you're doing over here on the screen. So let's say I wanted to switch out the first icon over here. They break everything down into categories to make it easy to access. And let's say I'm going to be doing something on thought crime. Right, the text has all of the usual formatting options. You can center, you can change its color, its font, its size. You can change the different layering options. So if you wanted this to be in front of an image or behind an image, you can sort of adjust it as you need it to be, drag and drop. If you decide you don't need the extra text that someone included in the original template, you simply delete it. And let's say I want to replace this icon here with something else. It'll appear on the screen, adjust the size to where you want it to be, adjust the color to where you want it to be. And you can see as you drag it around, it'll show you where it is in relation to other objects on the screen, so you can keep everything sort of in line and see where it's going to fall. Again, if you want less text, change it. It'll automatically sort of adjust the box size for you so you can include additional things. If you decide you don't want this, you can delete it, make it however you want. Once you're done with your final product with Venngage, one of the few drawbacks of the system is that they do not offer you a way to save it to your local drive. There is no download function either as an image or a PDF. Really the only way to get that is to pay for the account. That's one of the few reasons to do it. But again, if you're looking for a system that you can use with your students where you don't want to have to ask your school to pay for multiple student accounts, using the free account really is the best way to go. And when students are done with their project and they need to finish and share it with you, they can preview it first if they want, but what they'll do is they'll just hit the publish button. And what this does is it will publish the final product to the community page, which is accessible to all users of Venngage, so it does become essentially public at that point. But it's really the only way for them to share something with you. So let's take a look at what this project might have looked like when it was finished. Once you're done making your edits, it will save it to your infographic section. And this is an option for what that would have looked like. You can see it's definitely still the same basic template. It keeps the same format, but the text has all been adjusted. Additional lines have been added at the bottom to make it a little more specific. You can add footers if you want for subtext, or if you want students to cite within the infographic itself, you can do it that way. Just a very basic template. And let's say I'm ready to publish this. I'll hit the publish button. And it automatically gives you the URL that students will share with you in case you want to see their work. And it'll come to you on a screen much like the one that you saw earlier for the Educational Standards infographic. This makes it a little difficult to print or share in any other way than digital. You cannot copy or save, but you can share it on social media, and this is something the editor offers as well. Again, private sharing is a premium option. And let's say a student publishes accidentally, or the project is over and they no longer want to have their work shared publicly, you can actually unpublish an item. It'll be removed from the community page, and again, you'll be the only one with access to it. So another option for infographics building is Easily, and Easily has many of the same options as Venngage. Like Venngage, it offers both a free account and a GoPro paid account, but they offer a lot of different template options for those with a free account for you to get started with. And we'll just take a quick look at the editor. This is actually an infographic that was originally a comparison chart, but has been repurposed to be the start of a digital citizenship awareness infographic, how to behave on the internet, right? Digital etiquette. Do speak with respect. And like all of the other ones, it was originally a title, a little subset, and you can see here they are not always written out the way they are on Venngage. It's just a template. You can include images. Now, one of the things they offer that Venngage does not is there is an opacity option, so you can sort of fade things out. If you're doing layering and you want two images to show at the same time, you can adjust opacity that way. And another function that Easily offers that Venngage does not is, in addition to being able to upload files and photos, you can actually search YouTube. You can copy and paste a URL and insert a video into your infographic if you wanted to. Again, this is something that only works for digital presentations, but if they're looking to add this to a website or a class page, or even upload or link to a Google Classroom, they could certainly include audio or video options through Easily. Now, Easily's system is a little less smooth than Vengage's. It's a little clunkier to use, particularly in the use of text. If you want to adjust text, it won't show up in the text box. It'll actually create this separate text window that is adjustable for you to make your changes. So it's just a little clunkier. When you choose to move an image, the lines are a little more obvious than they are in Engage. Just little things. Now, they do offer the option to download, which may be something that you value more highly than any of the other drawbacks of the system, because you can save your work to your local drive either as a PDF or as a JPEG file, which certainly comes in handy for students who need to print a final, or if you're looking for this to be something that students present in the classroom and is later used to sort of, if you have a classroom wall of student work to hang on the wall, that's something that you might consider necessary. And you know, we looked at how this can be used to sort of convey ideas for digital citizenship. Other ways to address digital citizenship might be to have your students create an infographic as part of a formative assessment, teach them some aspects of digital literacy or digital communication, digital etiquette, help them determine, you know, what information you choose to include in a post or an infographic and what you choose to disseminate to the public, essentially. And then have them actually post it either to a classroom page or a forum online, depending on what topic you're covering, as kind of a formative assessment for digital citizenship. You could have them create a comparison chart of foil characters or paralleled events in a novel, You can use infographics as a way to pare down discussion notes or the decisions you make in class to the most important elements, and then share it either in a shared Google Drive folder, or if you conduct a classroom, share it within the classroom, or if you have a system like Jupyter where you can actually upload files, you could upload it to there so that students always have access to those notes in a more clear-cut, sort of graphically organized form. You could use it, I mentioned visual literacy earlier, you could use it as part of a visual literacy lesson as a formative assessment. Discuss the use of color and image to draw attention and emphasize meaning. You could have them convey that even tied to a novel, make it a companion piece to Gatsby, right? Two contrasting ideas, one to support the idea of underground jazz clubs and the party scene, the drinking, and one's actually supporting prohibition. How would you handle the display of both of those pieces of information? There's really a lot you can do with it. The applications for infographics really are multifarious, so I'm certain you'll think of additional uses based on your content area and your lesson focuses. Just have fun creating new ways to use them with your students and discover new standards that they can demonstrate. If you have any comments or questions on the video, or even feedback on how you've utilized infographics in your classrooms in the past, feel free to comment below. Have fun, guys.